On Friday evening here in England, or the early hours of Saturday morning for those watching from New Zealand, the All Blacks will be taking on the Springboks on neutral territory from Twicken Stadium here in England. Both teams have named incredibly strong starting 15s in their preparation for the Rugby World Cup group stages. Now, as I said, both teams have named incredibly strong starting 15s, which I'll be dissecting in this video, giving my thoughts on selection and a prediction at the end also. So I'm going to start off with the All Blacks. In their front row, they've got De Groot, Coles and Lomax. For South Africa especially, a team that is very set-piece dominant, this will be an incredible test for the All Blacks to see where they are at scrum time, especially. Now, the scrum was always a place in which I could feel South Africa could always take advantage of the All Blacks. And I do feel that All Blacks have definitely narrowed the gap in recent years with some great improvement from De Groot and Lomax, especially at scrum time. And I don't feel like the dominance South Africa will have over New Zealand is as great as it was in years gone by. At hooker, you've got Dan Coles in between the big De Groot and Lomax. Now, Dan Coles is sort of one of the more experienced players for New Zealand and has got a fair few caps to his name. And the Hurricane player is probably, I wouldn't say his first choice for New Zealand. I've probably edged it towards Cody Taylor, potentially. But yeah, he's a very strong selection nevertheless and will be doing well to hit his line-out darts, especially with Etzebeth and Mostert contesting them. So that'll be a great test for Dan Coles. Now, the All Blacks have got a fairly strong second row combination as well. It's not just the Springboks that have got good second rows, in Sam Whitelock and Scott Barrett. Now, Scott Barrett is one of the most improved and probably best forwards on the planet at the moment. Now, you'd always speak a lot about Beauden Barrett, World Player of the Year, Geordie Barrett having an absolutely brilliant season, but Scott Barrett has come under the radar and has really prevailed as one of the All Blacks' most important and key players. Now, he's been part of the Crusaders setup and following their triumphant victory in the Super Rugby playoff final between the Crusaders and the Chiefs, Scott Barrett has really grown into an incredible player in his own right. He partners Sam Whitelock, the experienced veteran, in what is looking to be a very, very strong combination going into the World Cup. Brodie Retallick is absent from there, but I think Scott Barrett can say he's come into that second row on his own merit, not necessarily through injury. Moving on to the All Blacks back row, Jacobson, Kane and Sarvea. Jacobson is looking to prove to the coaches the reason why he's been selected for the Rugby World Cup and fight for one of those bench spots potentially, or even force his way into the starting 15. Now, he's got a job to do that because Shannon Frizzell has been on great form and has really been worth his weight in gold in that 6 jersey for New Zealand. That's been incredibly physical and a great back row around the park, very agile, etc. Sam Cane in the 7 jersey, the All Blacks captain. Now, there's been a lot of question marks over Sam Cane going back over the years of whether he's playing just because he's captain or whether he actually deserves his 7 jersey. Now, he's coming off some really good form in Super Rugby for the Chiefs. The Chiefs going all the way to the final. That doesn't happen if you've got a weak captain. So yeah, Sam Cane's really been improving and trying to prove to the All Blacks fan base and supporters that he's really in there on merit, not necessarily just because of leadership. Ardie Sarvea at number 8. I don't even need to talk about this player. He's just phenomenal. The best number 8 in the world, in my opinion. And he's just an incredible player. Over the ball, carrying, he can do it all. And is really almost the complete number 8. Moving into the All Blacks backline. This is the backline which I anticipate will start in a knockout fixture if all players are fit in the World Cup knockout stages. Aaron Smith partners Richie Mo'unga. Aaron Smith, one of the most experienced players on the pitch, if not the most experienced player on the pitch, provides just incredible service to a flyer half, a brilliant passing game which is really just one of the best and just can't be beaten in many regards. Richie Mo'unga has fought off stiff competition from Damien McKenzie. A lot of All Black supporters and fans been saying, Mo'unga, maybe he's not the starting 10, give the keys over to Damien McKenzie. But I think of recent games and of the sort of last few months, Mo'unga has really solidified why he is the starting number 10. He does pull the strings exceptionally well, and especially off the kicking tee, I think he does dominate Damien McKenzie in that aspect of his game. Moving into the centres, Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. Now, these are 2 players that have actually converted positions to make it into the centres. Now, Geordie Barrett started off at fullback and has shown great transition to become one of the best 12s in world rugby at the minute. He's got a great balance between the sort of hit-up smash game of getting over the gain line, but also sort of the deft handling touches that you get from being an outside back. Rieko Ioane has come off of the wing a few years ago to really make that 13 jersey his own. Brilliant speed and pace he can put on the ball, and the ability to step at the gain line. It's just, he's an incredible 13. Now you can also see this transition for the Springboks with Moody coming from the wing to centre. Now Rieko Ioane's had more time in the 13 jersey than Moody, that's for sure, to sort of embed and get used to the systems. Now moving on to the All Blacks back three, Mark Telea, Will Jordan and Beauden Barrett. Now Telea is coming off a strong season for the Blues, and he's just been incredible in Super Rugby. He's got the ability to just, once you think he's tackled, just keep going, sort of pull a leg free and make exceptional meters. So he's definitely worth his slot in the team, fighting off the sort of selection of Ironi Narawa of the Chiefs. So Mark Telea has definitely had to fight for his spot, especially with the likes of Caleb Clark, who's potentially not on the best form, in there as well. Will Jordan has got to be one of the best swingers in the world at the moment, if not the best. In my World 15, there's one name in which I left out, and that was Will Jordan. I think I selected like Mariko Korobetti over him or something like that. And let's just say the comment section weren't best pleased with that, and I completely understand. Will Jordan has been absolutely class. So look, if I had to do my World 15 again, I'd definitely be putting Will Jordan in there. Beauden Barrett at fullback, a player who has actually said fullback isn't his best position, but does find himself there. I think he works really well as the sort of dual playmaker role with Richie Mo'unga. Let's get that one right. And he's really been growing into that 15 jersey and has made it his own over the last sort of 2-3 years. He's had Stevenson breathing down his neck, so he's had to be on his game, but has definitely been the preferred choice from Ian Foster. Moving on to the Springboks, we've got the powerhouse front row of Kitshoff, Marks and Malherbe. Now this is an incredibly powerful front row with just absolutely huge human beings either side of Malcolm Marks, who is no small man himself. These props will be giving everything they can to the All Blacks at scrum time and looking to milk some penalties. It's really a facet of their game which is just a huge strength, almost a super strength. And Malcolm Marks will be looking to hit his line-out darts to Etzebeth, Mostert and Khaleesi. Malcolm Marks has got to be one of the best hookers in the world. His ability to do the extras outside of just the line out, get over the ball, get turnovers, etc. He's just one hell of a player. Moving into the second rows, Etzebeth, who fits himself easily into a World 15 at the moment. His consistency over a period of time of being at the top of his game in terms of line out, running meters, defence. He really can do everything you want a second row to do and more. Mostert, potentially one of the most underrated players in the Springboks team, who is a pivotal part of their 2019 triumphant World Cup victory. Mostert is, if you compare him to Etzebeth, he's a little bit slimmer, not quite the same stocky and size, but he's definitely not a small man himself. And he just does all of the sort of the dirty work around the park, the rucking, the tackling, just a brilliant engine and a great work rate, and definitely goes under the radar. Now moving into the back row, Khaleesi, Peter Steph du Toit and Dwayne Vermeulen make up the 6, 7 and 8 jersey. Khaleesi, the inspirational leader himself, is back off of an injury. He got a 40-minute stint out against Wales last weekend in what was a record victory for the Springboks. He is one hell of a player and leader himself, and just the same as Mostert, played a great role in the 2019 World Cup. I've heard a lot of sort of physios talk about how he's come off of I think it was an ACL reconstruction or something like that, and has come back in 4.5 months. Now that is just almost unheard of. So I hope Khaleesi goes well, and especially doesn't see any reoccurring injuries, because that would be devastating going into a World Cup. Peter Steph du Toit, one of the best players in the world in 2019. I believe he did get World Player of the Year. His ability in terms of his raw size and ability to implement that and utilise it to beat defences, and especially over the ball as well. He's sort of the all-round number 7. Dwayne Vermeulen at number 8 is potentially a little bit more one-dimensional than Peter Steph du Toit, but that one dimension of powerful running he does extremely well. Now he can also get over the ball himself. I'm not limiting him just to his power game, but I'd say you can definitely sell him to a team based upon his power and his ability to just provide the Springboks with just consecutive gain line carries in which the likes of de Klerk and Manny Lebok can benefit from. A team in which has forwards that can get it over the gain line and get on the front foot is sort of pivotal, and the value of that really can't be undermined. So this battle of the back rows, you can almost say, could decide the test match. Moving into the Springbok backline, de Klerk partners Manny Lebok at 9 and 10. Now, Faf de Klerk as a player, from what I've seen on social media, there's been a couple question marks over his form. Now, the likes of Grant Williams, Hendrickse and Kobus Ryanak are all strong contenders for the Springbok number 9 jersey, which means the Bok coaches must have seen something in Faf de Klerk to select him on merit. He was incredible in the 2019 Rugby World Cup, so hopefully he'll come into good form from a Springbok's point of view going into this World Cup. Now, the 10 jersey is also a jersey which has question marks over it, with Manny Lebok taking the reins. Now, the Springboks have been struck with quite cruel injuries here, with Handré Pollard being the preferred choice if all were fit. Now, Manny Lebok has had a strong club season with the Stormers and is a great running fly half. I'd say he's not necessarily as suited to international rugby in the same structured style as your sort of stereotypical fly halves of Mo'unga and sort of your Dan Biggers or your Sextons, Finn Russells, etc. He's definitely a little bit more of a maverick, but his style can really work well, and especially with the dangerous backs that the Springboks possess. If they gel and they click, it'll be one hell of a feast for the eyes and a great feast of attacking rugby. So Manny Lebok in this game, what I'd look to see from him as a Springboks coach is especially his goal kicking. He's definitely got to tighten that up. He's had some good goal kicking performances, but I have to say there's been some games, I think, against Argentina where it's just been so inconsistent, and if you really want to go a long way in the World Cup, your goal kicking has to be on point. Moving into the centres, Esterhuizen and Moody. Esterhuizen's sort of the stereotypical what you want from a number 12, getting over that gain line and doing it incredibly well. It'll be a great battle between Esterhuizen and Geordie Barrett for the gain line, but I don't think many people get over the gain line quite as well as Esterhuizen. His ability to pick a line and commit to it and get those gain line meters will allow space for all of the other outside backs. Moody, now this is going to be an electric 2-13s for the All Blacks and the Springboks. Ioane and Moody both moving in off of the wings will mean there's a huge amount of pace in that 13 jersey and should make for some great attacking rugby. Now, Moody is a little bit bigger than the likes of Arendse and Colby, so it'll be interesting to see how he does transition to the 13 jersey. I'm not sure if he's played there for club before, but personally I haven't seen it, so I'll be really intrigued to see how that goes. The All Blacks back three with Mapimpi, Arendse and Willemse. Now look, this is just incredible talent on show. Mapimpi in years gone by has definitely been one of the best wingers in the world. You've got Arendse, who's sort of more new on the block, in the sort of Colby mould of a brilliant footwork, etc. And then you've got Willemse at fullback, who can play, he's a great utility back, he can play pretty much anywhere, 10, wing, fullback, even centre. So look, incredible talent on show, and if I was a fullback for New Zealand, I'd be worried about any of these back three making a break, because my ankles could be broken at any point in time. So look, as far as rugby matches go, this is a huge game, not necessarily in terms of silverware, but in terms of pride, ego and just momentum going into Rugby World Cup. So look, I'm really interested to see how this game goes. I believe the All Blacks got a comfortable victory, relatively comfortable victory at home, and I'm sure the Springboks will want to avenge this defeat. Now, the bookies have this as All Blacks to win by 5 points, but I believe this game could really swing either way. Me personally, I'd edge the victory towards the All Blacks by, I'd say, it could be a few points in it, I would say around 5 to 10. And now, that could seem disrespectful to the Springboks, but I think you just have to look at the All Blacks' form of late. But look, I would not be surprised in the slightest if the Springboks come and win, and almost could win convincingly. So look, this test match could go either way, and is one I'm really looking forward to. Please do leave your comments on who you think will win and some of the selection choices also. Both teams have also got strong benches with great impact coming on as well, and I think this game could be determined, the winner could be determined in the last 15-20 minutes. So look, it's set to be an absolute blockbuster, and I'm really looking forward to it. Leave a comment on your thoughts about the game in the comments, and thank you very much for watching.